up, guys? This is Preston. We've got the ELCAMINO today. It's in the body shop. Long time coming, but it's here. And we got work to do. So right now, the first thing we're gonna do is kind of go through and make sure that all of the welds and stuff on the inside are all ground. Get the floor pans all ground out smooth so we don't have to really do anything with them. Make sure there's no pinholes, get it cleaned out, get it all clean for the body shop side. Probably vacuum it because I don't really want, I don't want metal shavings everywhere. But beside the point, I can get out of the way real quick so you can see inside. We're gonna go through and scuff it, get it all cleaned up. I think we'll give it an acetone wash, and then we will 120 DA it to get it cleaned. Some spots will have to come in with a little Scotch-Brite disc and get it cleaned up. But we got to get all the burn off, all the dip color off, and all the metal bare, and then it's gonna get sealed with an epoxy sealer, and then we're gonna work on the outside. We might do the bed.
What's the whole plan for the
or the outside. The whole plan for the car is to bodywork the car and eventually paint the car. But no, jokes aside, the outside, same thing. This is all of our dipping, or when it gets dipped, this is the anti-rust film that ends up being on it. This one's been metal worked a bunch, so we've got bare metal spots, which you don't usually want to touch with your bare hands, but we're gonna be cleaning it, so it's okay. Once we get all that off, then epoxy sealer, and we'll get that scuffed, and then it'll get into our high build prime. I think there's a couple spots that we've got to get worked around. I know that there's a spot on this quarter over here that's gonna need some shrinking. Get somebody on the inside, kind of push that out and try and work out this little spot. I think there's a high through here that I might be able to float over, get that all kind of together, but not really crossing that bridge yet because we got to get the inside ready. When we do, you'll see a video of that though. Otherwise, just kind of get seals in, everything final adjusted. I got to straighten out the bottom of the door over there. Other than that, it's just kind of going for it. Start the process. Come through, got our sandpaper, 120. Gets most of it off there, and we'll come through with some acetone and Scotch-Brite. Kind of get her.
You have to do that to the whole car?
Yeah, yep. Anything that's got that dip on it, this is what we're gonna do. It takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit more than a little bit of time, but it's a lot of scuffing. You'll probably see a video of it soon. We did this to the Mustang, the 67 we've got back here. Did all the inside recently, and it's We're doing a lot of this lately, which is nice because it's like the start of the process. Makes it real nice. We get to see these when they're getting metalworked. They're in this coating for a while, and it's really nice to see all the bare metal right before it goes into bodywork. So it's kind of the first step, and it's a nice progress step because it's the final, like, it's not going any further backwards from this step, and it's super nice to see. We'll get it cleaned up. Might hit some of these spots a little bit more before it ends up going, but that's kind of what we're looking for on the whole car. So, clean, bare metal, get all this off. So, it's a long process, but it's an important process, making sure everything's prepped out the way it's supposed to be. And we'll get it sealed and one step closer to shiny. So that's kind of the first step in getting the ELCAMINO ready for bodywork and bodyworked. So stay tuned for more videos. ELCAMINO. Next time, you might see some black on it. That'd be nice. I think we're gonna get started on the inside and catch up with you later.
What I'm doing right now is using the stud puller to bring out some of this metal when we put in the scallops. Just the heat kind of shrunk in the metal right here. So I've been slowly pulling out the metal and just reshaping the metal right here. So we don't have to put so much, add so much body filler right here. Yeah, it's a long process, you know, little by little I've been pulling it out. That's about 4 or 5 hours just trying to pull this one out. I got probably another 3 or 4 hours trying to pull out the rest of this, but yeah, and then I'm gonna go around and start sanding it, making sure these are all level. And I would say maybe by next, not promised, by next Tuesday-ish, this should be in epoxy and ready to go. And then from there, it's just body work and more body work.
So moving on to the top of the car, I'm gonna try and there's a couple spots that need to get metal worked out just because I don't want to fill them. This one looks like it's gonna move just fine. Got it all welded in. Dane did a great job getting that where it needs to be. Just gonna finalize some of the metal work. There's a little bit, needs shrunk a little bit. It's a little bit oil, it's really not bad, but it just flexes just enough that I don't wanna try body working that quite yet. I think I can get that to stiffen up when I kind of get this area taken care of. There's a low like right here that I think once it's gone, it'll have a little bit more rigidity. Just kind of go around and make sure that there's nothing that wants to oil can on us. There was a spot yesterday, I don't remember where it was, but since we're doing the inside, I want to make sure that any heat I put into this is done before the inside's all ready to go so that we don't burn off the epoxy on the underside of the panel when we go and put heat on the outside of it. So we get set up, try and get that. I don't know if you can hear that, but we don't want it to make that sound. So get that fixed and ready to go. And then get back to the inside and get it epoxied. Clean the top, epoxy it too. It should be ready. Let's see if I can get anything else. Okay guys, quick check-in. I got this dent here out, kind of where I wanted it to be for now. I'll hammer and dolly it a little bit, but I want to get this kind of center section worked first. I came in, gave it a little bit of heat, kind of, it had a high spot in the center that I'd pushed out, and some low spots right around that. So I got them kind of worked out, and it's pretty good. It's not perfect. I'll get that part of it later. And the next thing I'm gonna come into and do is, when this scallop was welded in, ended up sucking just a little bit low, kind of all around. There's a high spot in the weld here across the center, but it's got a high spot here at the corners, so at each corner, and it's just kind of dips into ever so slightly low. And I want to get the roof back to its kind of original crown instead of dipping, just because I don't want to put a bunch of body work up here. So what I'm gonna do now is I think I'm gonna set up the porta power and kind of give it a little bit of tension through here, right here at the front, and then heat these, see if I can't get it to kind of come up a little bit, get these corners up, and I might come in, depending on how that goes, and throw a 2x4 along these edges and push them up a little bit too, just to get the side profiles where they need to go so they're not kind of rounded to a dip. So the whole thing kind of flows together really nicely. But I'm gonna go set that up and see what I can't make happen. Okay, so where to start? I've been getting the interior of this thing all scrubbed up, cleaned up. I've got the dash done. The floors are pretty close. This side, the quarter, that's the driver's side. The passenger side quarter, the back, and then that little pocket underneath the bed. And I'm onto the roof. So I'm gonna do some just cursory grinding, get that done. And then I'm gonna go to town scrubbing this and Start on this side, and then I'll flip it around and show you that side when I'm done with this. So just kind of quick update it where I'm at and where I'm headed.
All right, well, I'm under here taking a nap. I'm joking. What I'm doing is, so we prep everything from getting it clean, the metal, and then we clean the metal, you know, and then it gets an epoxy, and then we clean, after that we scuff the epoxy, and then we put primer on it. But before we put the primer on it, we clean the epoxy before we put the primer. And then when we put the primer, every time we put primer, we clean it for other primer or other materials. And it's the same thing as like a paint job. If you want a clean paint job, it needs to be clean. So when we use all these extra steps of, you know, just cleaning and making sure everything's scuffed, even those tightest corners, it just makes everything 10 times better. And it makes everything cleaner, and at the end result, you get that clean, sharp looking thing that, you know, it's just everything is super nice. And that's the reason why some of these cars take a little bit, is, you know, we're under here underneath the dash cleaning the metal just so we can put a little paint on it. But every step, you know, it takes a little time, but you know, that's why most of the cars, when they're done, you know, they're masterpieces when they come out of here, is because we take that a little extra time and do those extra few little steps that most shops do not do, and that's why our work speaks for itself.
Got the ELCAMINO. We just spent a couple days getting the inside all cleaned up and into bare metal. I think you saw some of that process. And it's in DP. So this is our epoxy sealer. Gets that metal all sealed up and clean. I think this is pretty much the final DP on it. So we're gonna try and keep this as clean as we can. A little dust here and there isn't a huge deal, it'll wipe off, but we're gonna try and keep it clean of overspray down the road when it gets primed. But it's really all, I think, all that's been done since the last time you saw it. We've got the roof semi-prepped out. There were a couple spots with some rust pitting that we ended up osfoing, which is a phosphoric acid that converts the rust so that it doesn't continue to grow and gets it etched. There's a couple spots we might have to hit again just because there's some pretty heavy pitting, but we want that to be taken care of before we move forward so that we don't have rust issues down the road. Get as much of it out as we can, and then osfo it again, see where we're at going forward. The inside is almost, we're gonna move on to quarters next, try and get the quarters epoxied, and then we'll clean up the inside of the bed. Got a bunch of stuff in it right now, but get this all cleaned up and not bare metal anymore. Kinda keep working around, biting off pieces, and pretty soon the whole thing will be DP'd and ready to start body working.